Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been forever, so I thought I'd do a quick card. When do I do anything other than quick cards? And I've got some stencils from Tim Holtz. I've got a stamp set from Lawn Fawn that you would have seen there, and I've got some cardstock. I just grabbed my Martha Stewart Loopy Punch. I think that's what it's called. It's a loopy or something like that, and I've had this thing forever. And I found like a download online for the sizing of the, being able to, what size squares you need or rectangles, whatever it is, to be able to do your punch around the page. Now, I misinterpreted one part of this, but I wanted to leave this in because this is how this is what happened. You'll see in a second. And so I was using the wrong size. I realized afterwards that it had two sizes. It's got one for the punch around the page, and then it's got one for like a deep edge punch around the page or something like that. I'm not sure. So I decided I would leave this in here so you guys can see that it doesn't totally work. And it looks not so bad on that first side, but on this second side you'll see it completely takes the corner off, and that's when I realized something wasn't right. So you can see that lovely non-punch around the page piece. So I started again. So I grabbed another piece of the same color cardstock, and I got the correct size. Now I will hopefully remember to do this when I actually upload this. And on my blog I will put the size chart that I found, but if you just Google it, you'll be fine with that. Do you know what I mean? It'll work fine. But for this particular card, because I had the card base that I wanted to use, I just decided to do the one corner and then along two sides, and that still is going to look really, really pretty. But yeah, just check your sizing out before you start punching away like I did. But I wanted to leave that in there. So I have I think it's called Bugs and Kisses, the stamp set from Lawn Fawn, and I love this. And I was just trying to figure out which one I wanted for my sentiment. I've already die cut the little, well, rather large bug, and he or she is from the Simply Charmed Cricut cartridge. It's an old school cartridge, but I adore the images on there. I love all the cutesy stuff. Yes, I love all the weird stuff out there. Anybody who knows me knows I'm into that kind of stuff. But when it comes to crafts, sometimes when it comes to color as well, which I do love, my wardrobe would not tell you that, but when I color and when I make art, I do love a lot of color, and I love the cutesy stuff. So I just simply stamped that at the base, and that sentiment happened to fit there. So that's what I just kind of, you could see, because it's a clear stamp, I could see where it was going to fit and how big it was, and that's what I used. Now with the Tim Holtz stencils, I nearly called it a stamp. I'm going to take that. This comes from, I think it's set 21, and it's this mini stencils. So you actually get 3 of the stencils in a pack, which is quite nice. I mean, they are smaller, the graphics are smaller than the originals, but you can also get the exact same thing in the original size, which is much larger. So all I'm doing is I've taped down where the loopy bits are, and it also helps to tape the actual cardstock down, but I've taped that off so that I only get the pattern on the center bit and not on the loopy bits. You don't have to worry about that, but I quite like the look of that. And then I've got some Distress Oxide, and of course I'm using Picked Raspberry. I've got basically throughout my whole Valentines series so far, I'm using the same color palette, I guess. So I've been using that throughout for all these different cards, just mixing and matching, but just using 3 shades of pink and the black oxide ink. And it's been great. It's been good for me to drag out my stencils and think a bit outside the box. It's also been good to drag out my embossing folders. You'll see a lot more of that coming up. And punches and things like that I've had for years and years that I often forget. Oh, I don't forget I've got them, but I forget to use them, and I think that's such a shame. And more recently I feel like, I don't know whether I'm going through some sort of change or something, but I feel like I want to make use of the things and appreciate the things that I have more than just buying new stuff all the time. You don't need to buy things all the time. I am a bit obsessive and I have to have everything. So I feel like, well, I can't have everything. Nobody can. But I feel like I have to have like whole collections of things, and I am a bit obsessive about it. But I'm trying really hard to not have to do that all the time. And especially this year. I think what happened last year, not just with COVID, some other stuff happened, and I feel like I'm in a different phase in my life, and I feel like I'm maybe going through some sort of change, right, you know, in a good way. I mean, I don't think this is a bad thing, but it's new and I have to I think I want to try and embrace this. Right. Anyway, back to the card. Sorry. So, having stenciled it, I then just used some blacks around the edges just to give it that moody look, which I seem to be having a thing for this year for my Valentine stuff. So now for this, I'm just going to stick it flat to the card. I don't think you need dimension all the time with your cards, but I think sometimes having parts of or elements raised or more dimensional is a nice thing as well. Now, all these images that I've been using, I actually sat one Saturday or whatever day it was, and I just sat and cut out. I actually went through all my cartridges, or I think they call them image sets now, and I just went through all of them and I grabbed all the ones that I thought were love themed, and I just sat and I cut and then put together all these little images, and that's how I landed up with all these different things that I could play with. So that's an idea for you if you want to just sit and cut images out and put things together, not actually making projects, but just getting things sort of prepped. So when you need a quick card, you've got a little image or something ready to go. And then I also added some Nouveau crystal drops, is that what they're called? And some crystal glaze to the heart and the cheeks, just to zhuzh them up. That's fancy words. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's really quick, and yes, I'm sorry about the last few videos having music in them, but you know, life happens. So I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.